I'll start with one live example or live quotation or wisdom from somebody. Year was 1976. 49, yeah, 15. I just passed out from, I was passing out from IIM Ahmedabad, my MBA. We had a professor called Charan Wadhwa, marketing professor. Unfortunately, a little bit insufferable and somewhat arrogant. Sorry to say, but he has passed on. I don't want to. But he used to think that the world revolves around him, etc. So little bit of that variety. And he was our placement chairman. Placement means the companies come to recruit and placement chairman. And he had got through his networks 3-4 important companies which had not come before. One of them was the up-and-coming massive public sector, Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited, BHEL. First time to the institute, offering pretty good salaries at that time, even though competing with people like Citibank and several other organizations, but pretty good. You couldn't fault because the management trainee scheme at that time used to pay maximum 1,000 rupees per month. Some of the better companies were 1,500. Global banks, etc., around 2,000, nothing more. Okay? So these people offered 1,250, etc. Very, very good. So Charan Wadhwa thought that he has brought a great victory in bringing BHEL, etc. So when the BHEL chairman, vice chairman at the time, later he became chairman, SVS Raghavan, short-statured man, he came to do the recruitment as a organization's head almost, that kind of importance is given. And Charan Wadhwa, thinking that he will get a great answer about IIMA and its academics and what they teach, etc., asked him, "What made you come to IIM Ahmedabad, sir, for this recruitment?" So Raghavan said, what Ramji often says. Raghavan said, there is downstream and upstream. Okay, this is like a river. The reason we came to recruit IIM Ahmedabad graduates is because you have done great work upstream in selecting them, and they will do great work downstream in networking. And he completely left out the 2 years that we spent in Ahmedabad. But what about the education that we give, sir? That is there, that is incidental. Nobody is going to remember corporate policy or general marketing 20 years later. What is going to stand them in good stead is networking, is the kind of networks that they build. That is what is going to stand them in good stead, and the raw material that you took is capable of doing that. That is the reason I am here, not because you teach good marketing or finance or HR. See, Charan Wadhwa's balloon burst. That is incidental, but I think it was a great truth. I think the truth in saying that good people get ahead not only because of their abilities, right, or their education or what they get in a class. They succeed because of the power of being able to network and being able to use that network. Not in a bad sense, using the network. Sometimes we say, oh, he's using his network. Not that way. But making things happen through networking and touching at the right places and making things happen. That was really the message that SVS Raghavan gave on that day, and that had stayed with us for a long time. And coming to the topic itself, even though it's not displayed here, productive networking is what it said. When, where, how, etc. So what is productive? Let's get into the word productive. What do you mean by productive? Maybe some of you can answer. What do you mean by productive? We can have a few thoughts from some of you, and then we can, sort of conclude.
That's what I said. It helps the objective.
Helps the objective. Okay. Productive.
Something,
Anyone?
Something evident.
Something evident. Any thoughts, Silva? Sorry? Result of work. Productive. Yeah. I can't hear you well.
Giving some input and getting more output.
Okay. Getting more output. Yes. Yes. Hello. Result oriented. Okay. Okay. All right. So let me just summarize. I think all of these are hallmarks of productivity. But I think somebody said that almost correctly, which is deriving value which from your efforts, time, skills, ability, deriving value out of it. Value for yourself, value for the organization, value for the whatever, your family, whatever it is, all of that will go into. If you do it extremely well, you're extremely productive. If you don't do it that well, then you're not very productive. So it is a measurement as well. It is not just a quality. Productive is not just a qualitative thing. Sometimes you say this is red. How much red is red? That you will see from the spectrum. Right? There are several shades of red. There is measurement involved in productivity, or something is productive when you derive lot of value out of a given effort, time, skill, and all of that. So, productivity in networking, or how productive can you be in networking, is the question that has come up. Again, it is not static. It changes with time, it changes with context. Right? How many of you are Dhoni fans? Dhoni, MS Dhoni. All of you? So you won't hit me when I come out, right? I just want to make sure. Because let's reflect today. How productive was Dhoni at the beginning and early years of IPL versus in his 43rd year? He's still a leader, etc. Is he a productive person? He's no more a captain. Okay. Today, Chennai Super Kings shivers before they send Dhoni. What will he do? He'll probably play 4 balls without scoring any run, and you'd already lost the match. This is the pathetic state of affairs for a person of that caliber, and he's one of the greatest cricketers we've ever produced, and leaders. But productivity is down, right? Nothing to do with network. I'm talking about productivity as a definition and as an example. That is what I want to say. So, for instance, even in productivity, you would like to do the Pareto principle. All of you know Pareto principle, right? Pareto principle. Yeah. Anyone can tell me? 80-20 is 20% of the efforts result in 80% of the result, and therefore the most important, and therefore need to be prioritized. In a diagram, you will say these 3 things will result in 80%. All the 7 other things, and in inventory management also it comes, ABC analysis, all of that comes. So using Pareto principle is very important in productivity. Certain things deliver higher value, certain actions result in immediate higher value delivery, all of that. So we need to be very clear about 80-20 principle application as well in trying to do what is important from a networking perspective, right? Now, having said that, the next question that was asked to me is why? Why networking? All of them talked about the importance and need for networking, right? And therefore, for me to talk about this is somewhat superfluous. However, let me just put it this way, some couple of nuances here. One is productive networking helps you positively to achieve things. Absolutely. That is in one direction. There are also various examples where good networking helps to save the organization. You may not achieve anything great, but you will at least make sure that fires are put out. That you are able to manage a particular situation which is particularly difficult or irksome. Right? If you talk to Topaz, he will tell you what all networking is required to manage that situation. And the cohort from Tamil Nadu will know the importance of networking in order to keep something afloat. Correct? MR, then Arumugam, then this, all of that we have done. Right? But we are still floundering around. Even then, this is important. We know that it is important so that we can continue to work there. And we are continuing to feel reasonably positive. Right? Therefore, networking can be used even for stemming or, sort of making sure that your dam doesn't burst. In fact, there are cases of networking requirement where I am the giver, the other person is the receiver. Despite that, I need networks there. I'll give you an example. Ramji and I struggled with multiple people, etc., to donate. I am donating a Ramanujan burst and to install it in MIT Maths department in Boston. The amount of networking that we had to do with professors, with administrators, with provosts, and the kind of reach that we needed to do all the way up to president of MIT. It's not funny. I am giving something. They also want it. It's not as if Professor Gomans, who was the head of the MIT Maths department, said, yes, we would love to have a Ramanujan burst. But nothing will move without networking and back and forth and all kinds of things. Ultimately, we got it installed and inaugurated and so things like that. We are doing exactly the same thing with Stanford right now. The number of professors, the head of the department, this and that. We are donated a bus, it has reached there, but we are just not able to install it anywhere. This is my giving, yet I need networks to manage it. Yet I need networks for it to succeed. So this is the kind of, why we need to network. There are multiple such situations. It can be for money, it can be for resources, it can be for, delivering something. All of that requires wide networks and well managed and so on. So, why is a question that I'm sure all of you are very clear that networking is required. It is not something that I can do away with, that I need it for me to succeed, even if I have everything in my hand, skills, ability, time, effort, still I need networks. Right, Silva? Absolutely. So therefore, we have established that why is a question that all of us are clear about the fact that it is absolutely required, and therefore we will go on to the next question. The next question kind of relates to where, and I'm also including in our own work here, where all do we need networking? We talked about internal, we talked about external, we talked about governments, we talked about institutions. We need networking at the principal level, at the teacher level, at the block education officer level, particularly in government, at all governments, whether it is central government or state government or local self-government or municipality or any of those. Your relationship will have to be at all levels. Right? Geeta? Is that correct?
Even with the
police department, etc., etc. Of course, some networks reach longer than others. Geeta, for instance, has got political networks as well there in her area, which is important, but sometimes we stay away here. In this area, we try and stay away from political. Suresh, am I right? So, but right now we are going through one particular event where the kind of network that we have built is going to stand us in very good stead, right? So therefore, that is important. And individual resources, media, teachers, children institutions, academic institutions, multilateral institutions like World Bank, etc. All of that is required, foundations and all. Let me just give you another sort of example within our context. Seychelles, through reach, rate, and richness. Right? Reach is the scale. Rate is what does it cost us to reach a child or a teacher or whatever. And richness is how rich is the program? Is it making the impact? Is the outcomes good? Is it what we wanted? Is it what they want? All of that is measured by richness. Right? I would like to point out here one of the finest examples of reach and rate within Agastya, within our family. Where is Shravan? Shravan. So, Shravan and Nitin, that age, richness may not be as high as your mobile lab program or science center program. But hopefully it will get there sometime. With the kind of reach in billions that they have done, and at very, very low cost to us, is absolutely outstanding. So, to them, one more. Nitin is not here today, but I'm sure Shravan will be happy to convey what we felt here today about the work that you have done in Nama. So we truly cherish it. I just wanted to mention that. Now, in fact, one of the things that I hear from Vikas Sharma, who runs the eLearn program, is that he is going to work with Shravan to make that program more rich or richer. And therefore, we are making baby steps to make that program also rich. And it will get there over a period of time. And I'm sure when we started the mobile lab program, what we did was initially sketchy. But today we do so much of SLOS and quality assurance and training development and superstart. And, all of that we have done, and the comes through in every class, hopefully. So the richness has gone up over the years, and I'm sure that will happen to what they have done in millions as well. So this is the kind of thing that we need to do for us to shine further and sort of reach our targets in Agastya 2.0 journey. The last one that I have been asked to talk about is how. Once again, after 2 days, I don't think I should be defining how to do networking. A lot of people have talked about it. A lot of people have given much better examples. They have talked about how do you develop networks, how do you cherish, how do you extend, how do you do things like that. But maybe I will use a few keywords, summarizing what others have said before me, and that will be essentially anything, any of the how questions have to be answered by way of process. First is the process, right? How do you network? What is the process of network? Just like our classes, we need to have a good start. And a good start comes from belief. Belief and conviction. That networking is important. It will deliver me results. I will have to do it. I have to devote my time and energy. As much as I do other things, I need to do this. And that is the first part of the start of the process. Right after that, I would say, sorry, I'm 72, so I need to refer to a little bit of notes. The second point is systematic. What's the conviction? Start doing it systematically, not casually. Kaam mein aayega, chodo, that kind of thing will not work. You need to be systematic. You need to know why you need to do something. You need to, say, this guy I met here, he can connect me to somebody else. He may not personally help, but he will connect me to 2 or 3 people. What will he connect with? He is in the academic field, he is in the finance field, he is very good in government networking. All of that, you need to be systematic in doing what you do in terms of networking. Energetic, enthusiastic. That is how we recruit our people, right, Dilip? Energy and enthusiasm. What's the third? D triple E now.
Enthusiasm.
No, energy, enthusiasm, and then third one is excitement. Enthusiasm is okay, but excitement is somewhere. It's at a crescendo, like those small girls and boys yesterday sang. They went to a crescendo in that Krishna Mehmet, all those songs, right? So go up to the Panchamam or wherever that you need to go, which is the absolute excitement that you get out of doing it. So you need to enjoy. All the E's come together. You have to be a little opportunistic. If you meet somebody casually, but then suddenly you find that this can be Kamya Aega kind of thing, you need to be a little opportunistic. Go ahead, go and shake your hands and say, sir, I'm certain, right? etc. I will meet you, give the card, then call them up. All of that opportunism also has to be done. Or you went for something else, and then you found somebody else doing something else, and then you start to say, oh my God, this can be done. This is important, and therefore you grab that opportunity at that point of time and make an opportunistic networking link. And then that later on it helps you. So that is another important keyword or aspect in networking on the how aspect of networking, right? And then you have to be diligent. That's very clear. Systematic, diligent. Diligent means not just wide but deep, number one. Number two, the crossing the T's and dotting the I's. It's a very important expression in English, right? When you write an I, you put a dot. When you put it T, you put a, right? Cross it. And that is diligence. Last thing that is required, you do the planning. Right? That is called diligence. I mean, cable TV guys or internet guys come and leave the last minute out and go away. You still can't enjoy it because he has not done that thing. So diligence is very important when you execute anything. And therefore, even in networking, diligence is one of the most important. Strategic versus transactional, you have to judge. Certain people are strategic, long-term kind of assets. Certain people are transactional. It finishes in 1 month or just a couple of days, 2 days later, 5 days later. So it goes away, but even then, it is important for you to dwell on that and then invest. That is where the Pareto principle will come. Invest your time and effort in long-term strategic things and do what is absolutely required in transactional things and finish the work. So that is important in your time allocation and the effort allocation. And the last one is, there are several others, but I noted down longitudinal, lifelong and transferable. Longitudinal, lifelong and transferable. What do you mean by transferable? HR professional in transport sector can become HR professional in some other sector. Because HR is a function. There is a transferability. Right? Correct or not? Whereas a law teacher, a teacher who teaches law, cannot become a medical person. Correct or not? Teaching by itself is okay. Pedagogy you can transfer. But you can't transfer whole amount of content and knowledge and connection. Some of them are transferable, some of them are not transferable. If somebody asks me to cook, no, because not a transferable skill. Okay, so I haven't learned, and that's a lifelong problem that I have. But the issue is, certain things are transferable. Networking is absolutely transferable. You don't have to believe that it will work only in banking sector, so I will forget all those networks because I am now going to railway sector. It is very transferable. Believe you me, it is very transferable. It is lifelong. It is longitudinal. So I'll end with the final example, which is again slightly personal. I am 72, as I said. I'm traveling next month to US for about 3 weeks personally. I am very happy to say that there are 25 cities in the US where I can stay without a hotel. Purely based on my neighborhood friends IIT Madras friends, IIM Ahmedabad friends, my career friends, colleagues, and others. Absolutely no issue, and they will mistake me if I stay in Navadvip. That is the kind of network I have built and I have cherished throughout this career, and it has been transferred. If Desh, who was a year senior to me in IIT Madras, had not introduced me to Ramji, I wouldn't have been here. If Pramod had not talked to me, Sai wouldn't have probably been here. He came through one of my network friends. Sai came to my house and the Sai introduced me. All of that happened. Today Desh again called a few months ago saying that such and such person is there in Amitabh, go and meet him, etc. And then we are now looking at where is Mukesh. We are looking at Beachhead in North very seriously. If it happens, and it will be through Amitabh, and I'm meeting him, in Atlanta next month, and that came through Desh. Like that, it just spreads, and then it gives. It's lifelong, longitudinal, and transferable. So these are the kind of thoughts that I want to leave with you on the question of productive networking, where, when, and how. All right?
Questions?
Any questions, or I have not held this 5 minutes?
You're on time.